Okay, we're ready. Then I'll call this meeting to order. This is the agenda of the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the RGC-4B EDC. Today is Friday, July the 10th, and it is at 12:05 p.m. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, and thank you for joining us this afternoon for this quick meeting. Item number one, invocation and pledge of allegiance. I'll ask Ms. Perez for the invocation and Mr. Lopez for the pledge of allegiance.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because my audio keeps saying that it's trying to reconnect, so I'm sorry if we get disconnected, but I can still hear you all. If you'll please bow your heads. Watch over each of us as we make decisions for our city. Please be with all of the citizens of Rio Grande City, with all of our local people, with our local leaders as they make decisions, with all of our locals who are hurt, who are sick, who are suffering during this time. Please guide us and please bless us. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. You all can see the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty
liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Honor the Texas flag.
Honor to
I pledge allegiance to the Texas one state.
indivisible. All right. Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. Roll call and final quorum. Ms. Garza.
Yes. Mr. Ramirez,
Present.
Ms. Lori P. Perez,
Present.
Mr. Fred Lopez,
present.
Dr. Javier Margo, not present. Mr. Hernan Garza, not present. Mr. Dave Jones, present. And Ms. Flor Flores, not present. We have a quorum.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Garza. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, public forum. Ms. Garza, did anybody sign up for public forum?
No, sir, not today.
Okay. Item number 4, approval of minutes from the previous meeting. Give you all a minute to look over those if you haven't, and if not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, if there's no changes to the previous meetings, I accept meetings as read.
Okay, I got a motion by Mr. Lopez. I need a second.
I second.
Okay, second by Mr. Jones. Everybody in agreement signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, left hand. I believe motion passes. I cannot see everybody's hand, but Ms. Garza, I guess, yes, okay. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, item number 5, consideration and approval of a resolution by the Board of Directors of the Rio Grande Economic Development Corporation authorizing an interlocal cooperative agreement between the City of Rio Grande, Texas, and the Rio Grande City 4B EDC and other matters in connection therewith. I'm sorry. Ms. Gan?
Yes, Mr. Ramirez and board members, during the EDC meeting on June 18th, the Board of Directors approved the projects and the funding amounts for those projects as part of a tax and revenue certificate of obligation financing that would be issued by the City of Rio Grande City. This interlocal agreement provides for the transfer of those funds, being a portion of the sales taxes to the city to pay for its portion of the debt services requirements for these certificates. The city met after the EDC and approved the certificate of obligation and an interlocal agreement on June 24th. Mr. Tijerina is here with us to explain the contents of the interlocal agreement as well as the updates to the finance plan, because at the time we did not have the interest rate set for that. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Tijerina.
Thank you, Ms. Guillen. Mr. Ramirez, members of the board and staff, for the record, Robert Tijerina. With Tijerina, Galvan, and Lawrence, we are the City of Rio Grande City's financial advisor. And also this afternoon is Mr. Dan Martinez. He's on the Zoom call, bond counsel from Winstead for the city. The presentation that we presented on June the 24th, as Ms. Guillen stated, has the final projects, and I believe everybody may have a copy of it, but if not, it hadn't changed from the week of June the 18th when we presented the preliminary plan of finance. The total projects for the EDC came out to $1,707,555, and the projects, there was 4 items listed, from drainage to port connections, business park planning, and infrastructure. Now, if you turn to page 5 of the presentation, on the very bottom center portion of the page, it says page 3 of 3. And on the column E is the overall financing principal and interest total on column E. The interest rate we locked in at 2.51%. And again, it's locked in from year 1 all the way down to year 20, 2.51%. The council approved this financing. So on July the 23rd, the city will receive the funds and then be able to disperse out to the EDC if this interlocal agreement is approved. But again, the principal and interest on page 3 of 3 on column E, and the interest rate is 2.51. On column H is the portion of the EDC. The principal and interest over 18 years average, say, about $115,000 a year. The first payment, as the mayor stated the last time we had the EDC meeting, wouldn't occur until next February 2021 and August of 2021. That would be the first payment. And that is pretty much it as far as locking in the interest rate, 2.51%. It was a great interest rate, lower than what we expected. And a lot of kudos goes again to the council and to the city staff for working together with the audit and putting everything into play years back to get to this point. And again, if this item is approved, the EDC will be able to receive the funds roughly July the 23rd or a little later, after they get with the city manager and the finance director. Now I'll turn it over to Mr. Martinez so he can discuss the meat and potatoes of the interlocal agreement.
Mr. Martinez.
Can you hear us, Dan? Oh.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. I'm back. I accidentally hung up instead of unmuting myself. So sorry for that delay, folks. Everyone, for the record, Dan Martinez with Winston, PC. Again, a privilege to be with you guys this afternoon. Hope everybody's safe. I think just briefly, Ms. Guillen stated everything perfectly. This interlocal just kind of memorializes the action the board, you guys, undertook on the 18th. And then the city came back and as Robert mentioned, authorized the sales of COs at the council meeting on the 24th. And they also approved this interlocal. And this document is just basically to memorialize that obligation and that agreement between the EDC and the city with respect to the project, with respect to the financing, and with respect to the transfer of the funds to cover that debt service as Mr. Gideon just referenced right now. It's very basic, straightforward, and again, it's just something that we want to put down in pen and paper, I'm sorry, to document that agreement and the obligation between the parties. And I'm open for any questions.
Any comments or discussion from anybody?
You know, pretty much we pretty much talked about this in the last meeting. It looks like a really good deal, and the good thing about it that if we don't use it, we can pay it back. You know, we can pay it back at a certain time before, you know, before it ends. But right. With our state reopening soon, hopefully, and people will start to investing more money into business and stuff within the Rio Grande City area. It's good to have this money in the bank for whatever we need to use to help those local businesses and those businesses that want to come in to Rio Grande City, because I think this COVID-19 situation is only going to make us stronger, and our economy is going to rebound in a way that Rio Grande is going to look really good. It's not going to be soon. It's not going to be, within a month or two, but within a year or two, we're going to be back in business, and having this money in the bank for usage that we need to borrow from it or whatever, it's all going to be good. So thank God it's a low interest rate, and we'll move forward with it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the monitor this morning, but there in that monitor, they were talking about the sales tax collections for the different counties and cities across the valley, and I was very surprised that Rio Grande City was up by 28% for the month of May compared to last year, or
Yes.
something like that, right?
Yes, Mr. Ramirez, and I reported last month, elections that came in May were actually pretty good. That represents the activity that was in March, when we started to close down and everything. So I think in our last meeting, I had reported to you that we experienced an 8% decrease from the same period last year, but overall we were still at 2.7% over the same period last year. So we were hit, but not as hard as some other cities in the valley.
All right, I think we were still at a 5% increase from, compared to last year at this time. So it's positive. So I think that compared to what based on what we're going through, I think that prisoners are still spending money, and it's good for our community to continue going forward. But again, borrowing this money is just going to use a little safety net just in case we need it, and we don't have to borrow against our coffers. We've got some commitments to that new development across Walmart, and we felt comfortable that we can make that payment. But this just gives a little bit of safety net for us to have that extra money just in case we need it. But things look good, and I hope it continues that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Commissioner Ramirez, if I may add, just the report from sales tax came in. It's under the July month, but it actually reflects the May monthly report, which is due June the 20th. We're up in May by $76,000 in sales tax.
Good. I think that's what I saw, and it's great news.
And the people out, people are out there. They're buying essential things that they're doing. There's a lot of people working, doing things, buying material for doing home activity, doing honeydews at home, yeah. and people. The good thing is that those honeydew items that they buy, those are all sales tax items. HEB's is thriving, but a lot of the food is non-taxable. Restaurants are thriving. That's taxable. So we're, people are picking up through restaurants and picking up, honeydew things, whether it's at, at McCoy's or wherever it is, different places. But I'm glad that people are actually responding to this and, and going out. But we just have to, don't let our guard down and keep on moving forward. And we'll all get through this together.
We'll be doing at the Comptroller's office, we'll be requesting for an open records request so we can decipher what industry is actually pulling us up during this time.
Very good. Okay, guys, so at this time, if there's no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 5 as presented.
I so move.
I got a motion by Mr. Lopez.
I second it.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, left hand. And I believe motion passes. Ms. Garza, I cannot see everybody's hand, but okay.
Yes,
Very
everyone
good.
raise their hand.
Okay, thank you. Okay, pretty much that's it for today's meeting. If there's any other questions or comments or concerns at this time, I'll open up the floor for discussion.
Y'all stay safe out there. Just don't let your guard down, and
Wear your masks.
wear your masks out in the public. I know at our, at TxDOT, we're doing, yeah, wash your hands. We're doing everything possible in TxDOT, but it's just, we feel that it's barely getting here. It's barely getting here. So this is not a second wave. This is just the first wave that got here kind of late. So let's just take care of each other, take care of our families, and move forward.
Very well said. Safety first, guys. So again, take care. Again, stay safe, and again, take care of yourself and your families. And if there's no other comment, then I'll go on to the next item, which is adjournment, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
That's all move.
Okay, got a motion.
Second.
Yeah, second. Okay, at this time it's 12:21, and this meeting is adjourned. Have a great day, guys.
A great
Robert, take
weekend.
care, Robert.
Have a good
Take care.
weekend.
Y'all
Thank
take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.